everyone, I'm Kim Secrist and I want to welcome you to my kitchen. I thought it would be a lot of fun to share some of our family favorite recipes with you today. So what I'm going to make and share with you is a salmon fillet, seasoned orange roughy with mango salsa, and sweet potato fries along with a whole chicken. And so something that I love about preparing food at home is that not only can I control the portion size, but I can also control the amount of seasoning and salt, pepper, oils, or whatever I'm using onto my food. And I don't know about you, but when I go out to eat, I look at my entree and I see that it's really shiny and glistening and I think, I wonder how much oil is on here. Or I'll take a bite and think, wow, this really tastes salty. So I love to be able to cook for my family at home and be able to control all of those things. So let's get started with the whole chicken. What I have here is about a 4-pound fryer. I purchased this at our local farmer's market and I'm going to place it into a pressure cooker. So I don't know if you're familiar with a pressure cooker or not, but this is a Cuisinart. I have had it for probably 3+ years. It is one of the best investments that I've made for my kitchen. It cooks this chicken so fast. As you can see, I have the timer set for 35 minutes. I'm just gonna let it cook up and then just hang out in here for maybe another, I don't know, 10-15 minutes afterwards. So I'm gonna take the lid off and I'm gonna show you just how moist and the way it just falls off the bone after it's cooked. So I'm gonna put the lid on here, press start, and we're just gonna let this guy hang out. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you how to make sweet potato fries. Okay, now on to sweet potato fries. I don't know about you, but when I think about sweet potato fries, I think of something that's probably greasy, maybe crispy, likely soggy based on what I've seen at restaurants. But today I want to share with you one of the best sweet potato wedges that I have ever had, and I learned this recipe from a chef here in my local hometown. So what I have are 2 large sweet potatoes, about this size. I've already taken and sliced them into quarters. I'm going to place them into a bowl. On top of the sweet potatoes, I'm going to take olive oil and drizzle it over the top. I would say about a tablespoon or 2 would be fine. I'm going to just blend this olive oil through the wedges. And to this, I'm going to add some salt, about a tablespoon of salt. This is kosher salt. I'm going to add a tablespoon of garlic powder, not salt, garlic powder. Some chili powder, and this is going to add an extra spice. So if you don't like spicy things, you may want to just do this in moderation or not at all, but our family loves spice, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of chili powder, some cinnamon, a tablespoon of cinnamon, and one additional ingredient that I didn't get out yet is cumin. So let me grab that. We're going to add about a teaspoon of cumin. And as you can see, I love to use my hands to measure. So we're going to take all these ingredients and just blend it up with our hands. And once it's all coated inside here, you'll see how they look here. Nice and coated with this cinnamon and all the seasonings on there. So I'm going to place this onto a foil-lined pan. Just for ease and cleanup, I like to line my pans with foil. We're going to bake these at 375 for about 20 to 30 minutes. It just kind of depends if you have a convection oven or not. So I'm going to pop them in the oven and then we're going to come back and start on the salmon. Okay, now that the sweet potatoes are in the oven, onto the salmon. And this is a side of salmon, and you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, Kim, that is a lot of salmon. And yes, you are right. This is about close to 3 pounds of salmon. It's a whole side, and a lot of times I go to the grocery store, and if I don't see a whole fillet like this, I will ask someone if they could go ahead and grab one from the back for me. A lot of times you'll see them sliced up in the display case, and I just prefer to get a whole fillet so that way I can season it all and then portion it out and have it for lunches and things throughout the week. So the first thing that I do is I season it with kosher salt. And on a fillet this size, I would say you would use maybe up to 2 tablespoons of salt. It just depends how salty you like it, but this will be about a moderate taste of salt. Then I like to season it with onion powder. And again, for a size like this, I would say probably about 2 tablespoons or so. And then once the onion powder is on, I will season it with garlic powder. Then I use a medium coarse salt on the top. And then at the very end, I add parsley flakes. And I would say probably about 2 tablespoons again for parsley flakes. It just gives it a really nice color. You don't really taste the parsley so much in the end, but it sure gives it a great color. So this is what it will look like before I place it into the broiler. So I put this in the broiler for about 7 to 10 minutes, and I will show you in the cooking process how I check the center to make sure it's completely done. One trick I want to share with you is that the tail, of course, is a lot thinner than the thicker piece of the meat here. So I take the tail and I tuck it under like this. So I just fold it over and tuck it under. So that way the whole fillet will cook evenly and that end piece won't get too crispy in the cooking process. So I will throw this in the broiler and then show you how I check it to make sure it's completely done. Okay guys, check this out. I'm gonna take the salmon out of the broiler now, and look how beautiful that looks. Yum! I wish you could smell what it is like in here right now. You know how they talk about smell-o-vision? Well, we need that right now. So what I'm gonna do is take a spatula here, and I'm gonna go underneath the salmon. I'm just going to lift the spatula, and I'm gonna take a peek and see what that center section of the salmon looks like. Sorry about that. It looks, it's about, medium-ish, and that's exactly how I like it. So I'm gonna just let it hang out here on the stove top and let it continue to cook a little bit. And if it needs to be cooked anymore, I can always throw it in the microwave. But I tell you what, this is gonna be fabulous on salad. It's gonna be great tonight for dinner, and I hope you guys take an opportunity to try this. Okay guys, the sweet potatoes are done. Don't they look great? Okay, so you're gonna find the thickest sweet potato in the pan. This pan's getting hot, so I'm gonna set it down. And you're just going to, take your fork and prick it in the center, and if it comes out easily, if it feels like it's tender, then you know that you're finished. So, something that you can serve this with is called key lime sauce. Doesn't look great. Okay, so inside this sauce are serrano peppers. There's a jalapeno, there's a poblano, a serrano, a clove of garlic, or 6 cloves of garlic, basil, parsley, key limes, or you could use a regular lime, salt, and a little bit of olive oil. But you blend all this up in the blender or Vitamix, whatever you have, and dip these guys in there. Oh, it's amazing. So it's one of our favorite side dishes that we have quite often here at the Secrist household. So hopefully you can try this. I will include the recipe in the comment section below. Okay, the last form of protein that I'm going to share with you today is orange roughy. And on this foil lined pan, I have 1 package of orange roughy. I don't know if you all have tried this before. I know most of us are familiar with tilapia, but I use orange roughy quite often just to eat it by itself or even in fish tacos. But one of these bad boys, it has 130 calories, 1 gram of fat, 0 carbs, and 28 grams of protein in a serving size. And a serving size says there's 2 servings per container, and this is 12 ounces. So if you like fish, or you kind of like fish, I strongly encourage you to try orange roughy, because the way I'm going to season it here is a little out of the box. But let me show you what I do. This is Montreal steak seasoning. I don't know if you ever use this other than for beef or steak or hamburger or any sort of meat that you make. But I have found that Montreal steak seasoning tastes fabulous not only on orange roughy, but also on chicken. So a lot of times I'll even take chicken breasts and throw them on the grill and put Montreal steak seasoning on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle this on top of the orange roughy, and then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side so it's evenly seasoned. Once I have this all done, I'm going to put this in the broiler, and I would say it's probably going to take maybe 5 minutes. Orange roughy is a pretty thin fish, and it cooks up rather quickly. That's what I love about it. So a lot of times I will make just a huge pan of this because of the serving sizes. We go through it so quickly, and again, it's great to cook a whole batch of it and then have it for leftovers for either a dinner the next day or even lunch. So I'm going to pop this in the broiler, and then I will share with you what it looks like in the end. I forgot to check the texture of the orange roughy. So if it's flaky just like that, it's perfect. It is nice and done. So let me show you what I'm going to plate this up with. Okay, I have plated up the orange roughy, and I have placed the mango salsa I told you about on top. This is a fantastic evening meal. You could pair that up with fresh asparagus, zucchini, green beans, any sort of vegetable that you like for your evening meal. Also, here's the mango salsa I told you about. It's simply chopped up mango with some serrano pepper. Also, you could use jalapeno or no pepper at all if you prefer. Another option you could use with the orange roughy is just shred it up, place it on top of a low-carb tortilla, add some fresh pico, perhaps some guacamole, avocado, salsa, shredded lettuce. That'd be a great option for you for orange roughy as well, for a great white fish for a fish taco. Okay, so the chicken is so tender, I can hardly get it out in one piece. So as you can see, here's part of it. I'm going to place it on this plate. And then the remaining pieces, I've got a leg here. And the chicken broth I usually keep, and I can freeze it. I like to use it for soups later. Just so handy to have around. And then what I use is just, taking a fork and a knife. And then this chicken, you can't see it very well, sorry, I'm a one-man show here. So the chicken, look how tender and flaky it is. I mean, it just falls right off the bone. It's just fabulous. This is, like I said, a chicken I get from a local farmer's market. There's no antibodies. It's free range, homegrown, fantastic chicken. So if you have the ability of getting something like this in your local area, I highly recommend you do so. So what I'm going to do with this chicken, I'm going to take it off the bone, and I'm going to make chicken salad out of it. I can either make it with mayo or without. We a lot of times use veganese, which is a dairy-free mayonnaise, or if I use without, it's just less fat. I will share that recipe with you. I hope you enjoy all of these things that I have shown you today, and I'd love to hear your feedback with a thumbs up or even a comment below. So thanks for letting me share with you today. Have a fantastic day.